Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Best Ball Brunch. We're going to slam some puppies, maybe chow down on some chow chows, maybe even get a little funky with the marathon of the BBM. I don't know, it's brunch. I order as I please, a la carte. And with that, we have some special guests joining us for this lovely brunch. Hope you're going to enjoy yourselves along with ourselves. Ourselves. I don't know why I'm saying that. It's brunch. We're going to get a little boozy, going to get a little fun, going to get loosey-goosey. Let's rip it. What's up, folks? Did I vamp long enough for us to get into a draft room? It's your boy, PPR Tyler, joining us live for his debut Fantasy Sanctuary cherry popping extravaganza here on Best Ball Brunch. How you doing, Tyler?
Going good. You said live like the way I say live, and we're live. So
Yeah.
brought me back to one of my streams, but I'm really happy to be on the brunch. My first time ever on. Looks like you get the 102 in this draft. I'm the 1-7, so not. We were. It's funny too. I don't think anyone really knows this, but we drafted a couple puppies together, back-to-back drafts, back-to-back being right next to each other. It was not planned.
It was fucking annoying, actually. Yeah, I think it was. What was it, yesterday? I'm like trying to rip some puppies, trying to get some good stuff, and I've got this dude on my fucking hip, press coverage. It's aggravating.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. I don't even remember how the teams turned out. I think a couple of times I was at work, right? So I had some customers to take care of and whatnot. But hopefully, I would love to win a contest, but I would 100% love to win a contest that you drafted in or
no, same. I label these shits. I'm like, who's in the room? Who can I dunk on?
Exactly.
Right, let me say what up to the fine folks. What's up, reinstated coach, aka James? How's it going, Jordan? We goosey. You know what I'm saying? Casey, good morning. Who's the GOAT? What are we talking GOAT? Oh, I will say, bromosas. That's a thing on this show now. Bromosas. What's up, Thad? Dude, you're up late last night with BBG in the chat, grinding those fucking puppies. Up early with us. We appreciate you. Good morning, Dale. Good morning, MDS. Good morning, special guest Star Kindler joining us on the second half of brunch. When I get a little too toasty, that's when Star comes in and takes me to Pound Town, as it were. Good morning, assets to you as well, Hoosier. Good time seeing you. Oh, you're tipping your ass hat. Jordan's saying PPR Tyler the GOAT after. Yeah, so let's tell the fine people. You had a 24-hour marathon stream about a week ago.
It was exactly a week ago. I would have been streaming this time a week ago because it was from Friday. Oh no, today's Sunday. Never mind. Today it was Friday 5 p.m. to Saturday 5 p.m. So, wild time. You were on that. You were on that. Obviously, on the Saturday portion of the stream, we had a ton of people on. That was I don't know if I could ever outdo that. Maybe again, I do another 24-hour stream next year, or a couple of years down the road. But that will be I don't know. That's just a thing I think people think if I have one calling card now, it's the 24-hour live stream. So
yeah, I mean, are you
all downhill from here?
Yeah, I think you're the first fantasy streamer to do a 24-hour stream. Am I wrong?
Flock did one.
Oh, Flock did 24-hour.
Did one 2 years ago. Yeah. So that's why I had him on. So he was if you watch back, because Flock was the first one I had on. He also says that I'm the first person he's ever done an Underdog live stream draft with, which is kind of a cool accomplishment.
Really?
Because he went on with Pete on the Deposit Kingdom, but that was a scheduled thing. I think I'm the first live draft, which is kind of sick. So that was kind of cool. But he said on that stream, he was he's not gonna lie, he's I wouldn't have came on if it wasn't 24 hours. If it was just some random draft, then I would not have done it.
Oh, so he's like milestone or bust, baby.
Exactly, right? He wants to be part of the big stuff, not just some normal, shit boy, little boy draft.
Well, fuck. I guess I'm gonna have to put on a 36-hour live stream and bring on the Flock on the fantasy.
Dude, no one's done a 36-hour live stream. You should definitely make that your thing. Do 36.
I mean, I have done 32 hours and I've done 40 hours. It's brutal. I don't like it, but for the fucking bit, yeah, my wife will love to hear that again. But yeah, no, some people thought you weren't gonna make it, man. That final stretch, you could see it.
No, it was the 4 a.m. thing where I took too much pre-workout and I had a panic attack on stream. You can't. I actually watched it back for the first time yesterday. And you can't really tell. I think in the moment, I thought everyone could tell because I'm fucking paranoid. I'm oh my god, I'm gonna have to call 911 on stream. But I watched it back. You can't really tell until I like say that, like, guys, I just had like a panic attack.
Yeah. It's hard to tell if you're not like actively freaking out through the screen.
Also, can we just acknowledge this Jamar Chase, Jahmyr Gibbs start I got? I know it's
Seems rare. Seems rare.
It's not as rare. I feel like everyone's posting that shit on Twitter now.
Are they? I haven't seen Chase Gibbs.
Did you see?
All right. Wow. Neighbors goes. Bijan goes at 1 in this. I think I'm gonna do Devontae with my CMC at 2. So yeah, we're battling it out in this puppy, and then the next one we'll jump in, get some BS. But I figure we gotta appetizers. It's just doing a Bromosa off, just whacking it. I think I'm gonna
just whacking it.
You know what? It's a puppy with no chat rats. So I'm going CMC Kyron like an alpha.
Hell yeah. Did you see Fancy Dog Pound's team that he got? It was like Marv, Jamar, and Cooper Cup or something like that. Like a really like rare yeah, dude. He posted on Twitter. It's unbelievable.
Holy shit.
And then he also went Lamar Burrow on that team too. It was crazy, dude. I pulled him on stream a couple of days ago, and like he's like, we can just close the contest now. Thank God it was a puppy, not BBM, but still.
I mean, like, yeah, it's like close the contest now, and then like Cup pulls a hammy week 14, chases out with a fucking ankle week 15. And it's like, sayonara, bitch. That's just how this shit goes.
Ooh, I'll tell you what, I would love to get Brandon Ayuk here.
Yeah, Ayuk in the mid.
Oh, come on. With my Gibbs and my Jamar, I say yes. I say yes.
Very nice. Okay. And then real quick for the fine folks, I wanted to share right before the stream, I get my first ever from Mr. Nick Rudman. For those in the UK that are not familiar with Underdog, he's one of the big wigs at Underdog. I would say like marketing, content, production, all that good stuff. Famously ripped as fuck. Tweeted at us crying, screaming, puking during leg day this morning. Deposit Kingdom suck bags are still laying in bed reading about their precious little fantasy football. Added the Badge Bros, Roto Run, Sherman, myself, and Pete, all from the randomizer. So of course I said if the calf size fits. He's kicking and screaming and puking in the gym because he's got tiny fucking calves. No, that is the bit. And God, it's a good one.
I love it.
Sam's tweet at him made me laugh really bad because like Sam tweeted him about his like tiny calves, and he's like, if you had legs like these, you wouldn't have to get clowned on. And it's just like him wearing like a polo and a shorts at the gym.
Oh yeah,
looking like a fucking office khaki bro. God, it was funny,
dude. I love like gym people watching. It's like one of the best places to people watch is at the gym. Like there's
gym
like
in the airport, but the airport's just not as. You've got more crazy people, but it's also such a more miserable experience. The gym is at least like relaxed and laid back.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. This is an ETN team. Dude,
Rice going before pick 40 is a very common.
He's coming up now. Like people are just kind of fully like because like where his price is probably going to end up. What like when it comes out that he's actually not suspended mid third, 2-3 turns somewhere in that range. I think he creeps up a little bit more. In that DJ Moore, that Mike Evans range a little bit. Kind of the first chief weapon to come off the board, but like. Dude, remember, like, where was he? It was like 70s, right? Like, he was going like 70s, even like 80s, I think.
I mean, yeah, he dipped into like the 90s. He and Addison both. Any sort of like suspension or injury, they both kind of like got into the 90s. And he's been slowly rising, past all of that. And now that people are like, suspension's probably not real, blah, 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 blah. Hold on, I'm going to make this pick. Yeah, this is the type of room. And what I'm noticing is that like a lot of wide receivers are coming back around. Guys like Cooper or Higgins are making it all the way back to the turn. So in these puppy streets without you sharp fuckers stealing all my EV, I'm gonna push the envelope and try to stack some super teams.
Yeah. Rashi Rice, May 31st, his ADP was 87.
Wow.
Yep, that was the lowest it ever got, was 87. And then but like even like July 10th. 67, like it was still like kind of like in the 60s, and now like what it's at 47. It's probably gonna get up into the low 40s type of deal. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, I'm guessing he doesn't get suspended. What's okay? Addison's one I would like to talk to you about. Maybe we can talk about when he comes up on board here. But so I get that he's fallen. There's the suspension looming. There's the injury he just had. Doesn't sound like the injury's that serious though, does it? Like, it sounds like he's going to be fine, and he's like,
Yeah, it's not a serious. Yeah, it's not a serious injury as we can tell right now. Like I said, ankles and hamstrings that aren't like stupidly severe with like two and a half weeks to go from week one is like we're not going to overreact because this is a 1 to 3 week injury for ankles and hamstrings typically, and we have that exact timeline till week one. And a lot of these guys are saying like, hey, I can play through this if it week one was tomorrow. And then so with Rice's suspension, it's very unlikely it happens this year because his specifically doesn't even have like a criminal case date yet, and and that's like the big one that the NFL would come down hard on, and they really haven't, and so it's likely to get, if it gets settled, it's not even likely to get like put this year is my understanding, and so if the case doesn't happen this calendar year, then the NFL can't use that ruling to say anything. And if they were going to exempt list him, they likely would have already like leaked that or done it like they did with like Deshaun Watson or Ezekiel Elliott. And because they haven't done that, it really does seem like their precedent is wait to see what the legal system does, because he did everything he should have done, which was come out and, hey, that's my bad, I'm sorry, I got to do better, blah, blah, blah. The NFL's like, if you pretend to care and make the PR look better for us, then we're probably going to let it slide and just see what the legal system does. Yeah, Rice definitely not likely. And then with Addison, what fantasy lawyer Drew was saying is in his experience, because of where it happened and how many cases are on the docket, like even if his case is like preliminarily like for late October, that doesn't mean it's going to happen in October. It doesn't mean that they're not going to like be able to push, appeal, etc. And it doesn't mean the NFL is going to like swiftly make a decision based on whatever comes out of that, because it's a misdemeanor. So I think if they were going to suspend him, we would have already known about it by now. And if they were going to do it, probably early season. This whole like late season right after the court case thing, it's just not likely. It's more likely that they tack it on next year.
Yeah, 100% agree. So like I wasn't really taking Addison that early in the offseason because like his ADP, let me double check on actually. I forget exactly where it was.
In the 60s for a while, and I wasn't drafting a lot of him because he felt a little too expensive.
It's exactly the same situation here. So yeah, right. So but right before the suspension, like it's funny, like I'm looking at the graph right now. He had an ADP of 65. It was kind of, anywhere from 69, 65, kind of always in that range. After the suspension, he drops down to now 88. So like he was in that range where like who went at 65 in this draft? We got like, in this Deontay Keenan, this range that's kind of be coming off the board right now. But it's like at that discount where if he is okay, maybe like there is some injury concern because you don't like to see the lower leg type stuff, the ankle, the hamstrings, all that. If he is like, fine, he does play week one, we don't think he's suspended. I mean, it's a steal. Again, two kind of big ifs, but I'm fine taking some shots at Addison, getting a higher exposure at a lower price where I wasn't taking him at all, earlier, where it's like I might as well get some shares now at this discounted price anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, because now it's being overcounted, the injury and or the suspension, and it's making him like, I'm taking a guy I wasn't in love with the year two profile with the quarterback situation and the overexpected touchdown production, but now I'm getting him around injured Hopkins, hasn't played, somewhat injured, maybe rotational, Curtis Samuel, who's been too priced up. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to smash Addison right alongside Keon Coleman and JSN. That's a much easier bet because I think guys like Ladd and Brian Thomas could potentially be like much, much bigger hits. But yeah, now that I'm getting him well after that tier and sometimes even like much after that tier, with like Aaron Jones, Ramondre Stevenson, who I don't love for a multitude of reasons. Like, let me use those guys to take earlier running backs that I like better and be able to kind of like fight that thing, which is part of the reason why it's like I like drafting zero RP. But if I'm going to have like players available later that give me potentially much stronger builds with similar types of tier guys available, that's awesome. But yeah, it looks like with Worthy scoring that Carson Wentz touchdown and basically playing all the starter sets, he might rotate out with Hollywood back like by week 1, 2, or 3. I don't know that it's going to be – I don't know that you put the genie back in the bottle with like a good route runner with elite speed that opens up the offense But it's looking like Rice is a fixture of the 3-4 turn or like mid fourth ahead of guys like Higgins and all the Flowers and Cooper, and then Worthy regularly going at the 4-5 turn to pair with Mahomes or over guys like Fat Keenan, Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk. So yeah, it's definitely like I'm not going to be surprised if all but and it seems like Hollywood now is probably stuck in like that 60 to 75 range, whether it's, DraftKings or Underdog or whatever. I think people are kind of a little bit overreacting to his injury because he's probably back by like week 2 with no real dip. But I think like that's where he deserved to be without the injury. So I'm very fine taking him in the 70s there because I'll take Hollywood over JSN. I see the path much clearer there. Potential top 5 scoring offense versus questionable year 2 guy. I'm hearing Gretsch talk about JSN. I'm hearing other guys talk about JSN, and I'm like, I don't want to ignore how bad that year 1 was, even outside of like being poorly used by the coaching staff, because it's like his real ceiling is Tyler Lockett like goes away or falls off, and I just don't think that happens until the end of the year. But maybe it happens for the playoffs.
Maybe I'm crazy. Like I just took Jordan Addison, and maybe I'm crazy. I'm not like, as locked in as I should be. But like, I just like, even with the injury, with the suspension, there's just not a world where I'm taking Jameson Williams over Jordan Addison. There's not a world where I'm doing it.
Not at all.
Yes. And but like his ADP is like, they kind of go in the same range of receivers, but like Jordan Addison is a much better football player, much better receiver in year 1 than JMO is now. Going into year 3? It's like, and I love James Williams coming out. I hope he's a good player. But at this point, like I would love to take a shot at him. Maybe in the Rashid Shaheed range is the perfect range. Maybe a little higher because it's a better offense. But I don't know, man. I'm not there with JMO. I guess he's a spike week guy. But if you're drafting just like what we know is a spike week guy, like in round 8. It's just, I don't know. I'm just not really there with that.
Yeah. So Purple Yosh is our resident Lions fan. And I'm struggling with it too, because like, so for JMO, RotoViz did a lot of this research, and I looked into it myself when he first came in the league. Missing at least half of your rookie season, but then you're missing all of camp. And so like with skill position players, missing a lot of time early is like 95% likely to like tank your entire career. And so like you're just never getting that back. Those like practice reps, those ramp up ramps, like it's just reps are important for young players, especially at skill positions. And so like it was a reason why I faded him successfully in both of his first 2 years. Now the weird thing is, this is normally when coaching staffs kind of like move away from the guy. Instead, they've let their trusted veteran leave, and they've said, we are going to put more on his plate. We are going to make him run more routes. So like he could have a year 3 breakout in the old version of, and what people are counting on with Marvin Mims is just running more routes. And with more routes on a top 12 potential offense, especially with like guys like Laporta and Gibbs having like soft tissue injuries early, it's like, okay, opportunity wise, yes. The problems with that are Goff has one of the lowest, if not the lowest, deep like throw rates in the NFL. And so he's got to hit on those to matter. And he's never earned targets, even when he was looking okay, when like Matt Harmon reception perception could like rip apart the data and kind of shift it around. He still was looking like fine to okay. It wasn't like great or anything like that. This offense kind of like, but the other thing is that Ben Johnson does do a good job of like manufacturing touches with like the rush game, like these sweeps and stuff with him. And maybe they get him involved in like some yak stuff with his speed. So it's like, it's tough. Cause I think the fair thing to say is that it's a threading the needle to matter at his price over like the season, with like the median being he underperforms relative to price. I think that's fair. I think a lot of people can say that. The thing is, he could have a strong, yeah, he's a spike week guy. He's got 2 touchdowns on his resume in the playoffs. I don't want to overrate that too much, but I do keep seeing him like run a really clean route at the back of the end zone, catch the ball, get that touchdown. That was the second touchdown. It was like a passing touchdown longer than 20 yards. And what if they revert from being a strong rushing the ball in the red zone? And what if JMO really does put it together after a strong camp? Now, camp is saying he's a little shaky, depth's a little thin, and it's like, okay, maybe you're drafting him, and for it to matter, it's he pops in the playoffs, which he has potential for. But yeah, I'm taking Addison over him almost every single time, unless I have some sort of like correlation bring back, because I think the profile is just it's much harder to hit. Uh, all that said.
Yeah, I literally was the one who just posed the JMO question, but like I will say, like even after year one, I was like, dude, I love this guy's profile so much because like I think people still kind of think this about him, but like maybe it's different in the NFL. But coming out of college, if you looked at the profile, you would think if you just like if you were just a casual college football fan, you would think this guy was all he did was run deep threats. That was the only thing he was good at. Matt Harmon and his reception perception coming out of college, like it was actually pretty green, like across the board. Like it wasn't just like this deep route guy. He was winning actual routes, like in college at Alabama in the SEC, where he was the only receiver worth of any merit on that team. Like there was no one. It was like him and Mechie, who like Mechie, like say what you like, he's fine, whatever. Mechie's not a superstar in the league any means, but. So that was where I was at with JMO. And the Jared Goff targeting people deep, I will say, if I'm, again, playing devil's advocate here, they don't have any deep threats on that team. Other like JMO was in and out last year, whatever. But like I think to like actual like in the lineup starting receivers, Amon-Ra was not really a deep threat. It's not Laporta, wasn't Reynolds. So like I think that could be a product of what just kind of what the pieces they had in the offense too. Because if you think of Brandon Cooks and the Rams, like they were making magic too. Like they were throwing the ball deep when he was in LA with Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods. I remember catching some deep passes, Cooper Kupp too. So I think he can throw deep. I think that was just more maybe it could be scheme. It could be just the personnel they had on the field. So I think like JMO could hit. But could he hit to an extent where he's outperforming the guys that went around him? Is he outperforming, a Ladd, a JSN, a Keon Coleman, like a Jordan Addison, guys we were saying? Like, can he finish as like a top 24 wide receiver? I just don't see him getting that volume. And he could be a more efficient player in year 3. I just don't see him having the hyper efficiency of like a Brandon Ayuk or anywhere near that level of Brandon.
Yeah, and that's where it's tough is like how much do we overrate the situation versus the talent? Because I think Addison is a more talented player, but obviously the situation's much worse now that they have almost no chance at a quarterback performing like upper echelon top 15 metrics. Darnold can be serviceable in this offense. He's not going to be, anywhere near Kirk Cousins level of volume and efficiency. And Madison Parkhill kind of, had a good substack on that. Like JJ McCarthy was like a mystery box for this offense, potentially having access to that like higher end, just being a rookie and maybe being like much more efficient than people gave him credit for. Now that he's out the entire year, you're really just begging and praying to God that Nick Mullins and Sam Darnold are just given like a shit ton of passing volume, being guys that turn the ball over a lot, and then hopefully that overcomes how god awful they will be over like the long stretch. And that's probably not likely now because like with enough turnovers and enough like tough defenses where they're getting their dicks kicked in, they've got 2 really good running backs that they're resting both. Like Ty Chandler rested with the starters. They're going to have kind of like a split backfield. So, I won't be surprised if they kind of lean into the running backs a little bit more to kind of help negate that stuff with the shootouts pushing the ball there. But yeah, so I don't disagree that macro-wise, it might be a little bit tougher for guys like Addison, but Addison's price is now so much cheaper for this type of profile, and that mitigates some of it because this guy is someone that's won at every level of of the defense, as well as he's outperformed on air yards, he's outperformed with yak, he's outperformed with touchdowns over expected. Like he's outperformed everywhere that JMO has underperformed. That said, JMO single week is like multi-touchdown manufactured, go get him bullshit. So I mean, at the end of the day, the answer is probably like, I hope I don't have to take either one of those guys if I'm in a pinch, right? Like that's probably the answer. But in best ball, when I don't have to make that decision, I'd rather chase the talent profile because I don't want to. JMO, like for all intents and purposes, does have like some Sky Moore like situational hand waving stank to it. I don't want to ignore what I'm seeing and how bad I've seen it and just say, well, the situation's going to elevate it because it doesn't always do that. Situation can mitigate the absolute floor, but we've seen that not even be the case with, again, Sky Moore, not to rhyme, but it's a really fucking weird situation, and
It
I
is
don't
weird.
love the price.
Yeah, because he's had such a weird journey in the NFL because he comes in with the ACL, so like he's kind of they want to let slow. They've traded up to get him too, traded up to get him in with the ACL, and then he kind of does at the end of year one where you're like God, he had like 2 touchdowns, but like he also had like like 2 targets total or whatever it was, like just awful like counting stats. And
I
then
also
year
think
2,
Laporta is the wide receiver too, for all intents and purposes.
he definitely is.
Like as far as targets go, like he's a
Exactly.
better target earner, and he earns targets where Goff feeds the targets. But yeah,
100%. And then he gets the gambling thing, and then he gets like it's such a weird situation with JMO, man. It's like his first normal-ish year, knock on wood, that it stays that way. But I guess we'll see.
And it's funny, I saw that comment from Yosh. And with this, we will move past JMO. We're like, of all the preseason news, the only news about JMO is he's resting with the starters, which we knew. But like, this is where it's funny. Where is this? Did Sky Moore shred the SEC? I think at this point in the guys' careers, it is safe to say who they were in college does not matter anymore outside of their athletic profile, because the NFL has proven who these guys are and what they are. And JMO has been able to like outlast and create a role for himself that Sky did not. That should not surprise us, given that JMO was picked in the top 12 and Sky Moore was a second round pick. That's not too shocking. I'm talking about like from a fantasy market pricing. We overrate situation almost all the time. We tanked the Bucks and the Seahawks from a market perspective based on perceived quarterback situation, and then we boosted guys like Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney rounds 7 and 9, lest you forget, because of Patrick Mahomes. And we're kind of doing that with the Bills this year. Like, we got a bunch of Jags at wide receiver, and we got to take them all in the top 115 with Shakir, with Samuel, with Keon, and Kincaid, because, well, the situation is going to make them better. It's like, well, Kincaid could be good and not great. Samuel could be serviceable, not great. Keon could be serviceable, not great. And we overpaid for all of them. Like, let's not miss the forest for the trees. That quarterback does not always elevate the players, especially when it's like, if Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes cannot like make MVS, Kadarius Toney, and Sky Moore a thing, then we could arguably say best quarterback OC head coach duo of all time. Like, not every player that steps onto Kansas City's field or Ben Johnson's office or Nick Vay's office is going to like be made a thing. Van Jefferson and Tutu Atwell still failed despite getting chances. So I don't want to ignore red flags. And I think you can say you like his JMO has never had a better setup, never had more positive talk, and never had a clearer path to mattering. We can say that without throwing out the bathwater, like baby with the bathwater, that's saying like he's also got a shit ton of red flags, and it should not surprise any of us if he ends up being a very volatile, sometimes like he's Gabe Davis essentially. I think we can say that like his upside is like a multi-touchdown week on very few targets, and you can say in this game that's worth the price if it happens at the right point. And I say, as a guy that drafted Gabe Davis on the Bills, I can say fair enough. I can also say it's a tough needle to thread whenever we haven't seen, at least with Gabe, we had seen like this insane upside, 4 touchdown game, multiple games with like 2 touchdowns and 100 yards plus. With JMO, we've seen it once with multiple touchdowns and not that many air yards. So like we can say it's a thin needle to thread, which is why the price is not nice. He's kind of like expensive Rashid Shaheed, and we're clinging to that like, well, rookie year, first round pick, and it's like if he was in like the Josh Palmer, Cortland Sutton range, I'd be mixing him in because that's a worthwhile. I'd rather chase that potential versus the Suttons if I could. His price is tough. That's all we're saying. I
was going to give another JMO thing, but we'll never stop talking about it if I do.
Go. Last one, and I will.
Only thing I was going to say, Jameson Williams. I like the Gabe Davis comp. He's supercharged Robbie. He's more aura Robbie Anderson.
You know what? Robbie people were falling over themselves. Okay, I will take this Cole Kmet dip. Very fine.
Yeah. What did he do? I saw a couple catches yesterday. What were I didn't see the splits. Did you see anything on that?
It's essentially that Cole Kmet and Gerald Everett are running the same amount of snaps, That said, though, it's what I've seen the last 2 games is that despite them splitting snaps, Komet's getting the targets when he runs it versus Gerald Everett not getting targets. So I think this is a huge overreaction, in my humble opinion.
I will say too, with that game yesterday, the Bears game, everyone was talking about, and rightfully so. The Caleb throw was unbelievable. You had some roam stuff in there too. You had the roam on the back line of the end zone. I think that I don't know why do they have the 2 lines in the back. I don't know what was up with that. Where like it kind of looks like the end zone's bigger than it is. Whatever. I don't want to get into that. But everyone's like, oh, Caleb. The dude had 5 drives and like 86 yards. He had like almost all those yards in the one drive. Like no one was talking about how we played 5 drives. And again, I'm not. It's not. Teams don't want to do what they're normally going to do in the regular season. It's very bare bones type of stuff. But no one is talking about the fact that Caleb had 5 drives and didn't look great on like pretty much for like 4 of the 5 drives. Like no one wants to talk about that, but I just thought that was worth mentioning. I'm not actually using it as like actionable stuff that happened, but I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I think I saw Yosh tweet. It's kind of a similar thing of like the broadcast saying he's getting it together on the 5th drive is not like the most impressive thing to say. I think that said, it's a rookie quarterback. He can be an awesome prospect. We should still expect like not hitting the ground running from day one. Like that's like not everybody is CJ Stroud. And we shouldn't be, because like the last couple of years of Caleb we saw is a little bit more out of structure, backyard football type of thing, right? So it's like having him operate in structure is probably going to be still a learning curve for him. That said, his ability to make big plays and chase the big plays, I think we overreact to everything. We're overreacting to usage and lack of usage and injuries. So this is just football is back. A player taking number 1, making like a crazy play, like Madden-esque. We can definitely not overreact on that. But then we can also say, like, my takeaway was, okay, so Rome is his guy. When the play breaks down, he's looking for Rome. Yeah. And that's what I've been chasing at price and at talent prospect profile. And it was funny. A couple weeks ago, I told BBG and you, I was like, I need more Caleb to Rome, because that seems like the way I need to go for it. I need to chase that like Stroud tank. That's my boy. That's my connection talent type of thing, but with a top 10 wide receiver talent. Fade the 34-year-old. Before the fat Keenan bullshit, like fade the 34-year-old with like soft tissue injuries, who has no, like Gigabrain was like, he has no reason to play late in the season without any money on his contract over this year. If they're a middling team, which is very likely with Shane Waldron and Matt Eberflus, like, no offense, it is what it is. So it's like, and then DJ Moore, who's like a really interesting, fun, like we know what he can do, but he has no rapport with Caleb. He does what Caleb does well, but it's like at his price, over other guys, that's tough. So I naturally wanted a lot of Rome, but I hadn't been like stacking with Caleb a lot because I was trying to like push him around, get greedy, get some of my running back glory hole trademark players. But now after like yesterday, my takeaway is like, okay, it's gonna be like Sandlot football more often than it's not, and Rome is his guy. And all the routes you want to talk about, yada yada. It seemed like Rome was kind of rotating with Keenan out of the 2 receiver sets anyway. So that was kind of a nice thing to see, like, okay, maybe the second receiver, it's not just Keenan and Moore. They're going to kind of rotate guys in and out. And the staff is really high on Rome. They have no reason not to develop Rome and give him more opportunities as the year goes on outside of their 34-year-old, because that's their first round pick with their other, their quarterback prospect.
Yeah. It is interesting. Like I wonder why, they must be just trying to win now. Like, obviously they're trying to win now, but they're also trying to, like, they're still young where it's not like I don't think anyone's going out there, like, in the pre-shows for the NFL, and it's like, yes, Bears could win the Super Bowl this year. Like, I don't think anyone thinks that. So it's like, yeah, well, they got Keenan on a 1-year rental, and we'll see where he is next year. Like, what? Like, I don't know. Where does Keenan Allen go next year? Does he just go to KC? Is that where he's going to go?
Oh fuck! I am on the clock. I hate that pick. Oh well.
I almost picked him. That's a great pick.
I was like late in the downs. I'll just take the Corley Keon whatever, but I was definitely not paying attention. I mean, Keenan goes to whoever needs him, which is going to be the Panthers.
Yeah, whoever pays the most.
They're going to replace Adam Thielen with Keenan Allen. That's exactly.
I think T. Higgins is the Panthers' place. T. Higgins.
I don't know if they can afford him is the thing, because he's going to want $26 million a year for 4 years.
Who are the Panthers paying? They're not paying anybody.
they couldn't pay almost anybody this year, which is why they had to like reset with the trading for 1-year rental Deontay Johnson.
I can't name one player that they're paying outside of Derek Brown. I can't legitimately. Miles Sanders that terrible contract, but it's not like it's a ton of money. I feel like are they paying anybody else like Jeremy Chin? Maybe I don't know, man.
It's like the defense. Hold on, it's the Panthers. I agree that Higgins has likely always been the Panthers' destination, but I would not be surprised if they're just too cap strapped because they paid all their money in the free agency to those 2 interior guards.
Okay, yeah.
And I knew that money was a thing. Let's look at it. Let's see. Yeah, they only have $6.5 million in cap space this year. Next year, they will only have 20.2. So yeah, they're just
what?
Yeah, their top contracts are Taylor Moton, Austin Corbett, Adam Thielen's making $13 million a year. Yeah, Miles Sanders on the books for 10 this year.
Miles Sanders, man.
Aquanu, that's their first round pick. Yeah, so they paid Derek Brown and Robert Hunt $40 million a piece this year. Let's see. So yeah, is this order in cap number? Yeah. So yeah, in order of cap, it's just Taylor Moton and then everybody else, but they've got a bunch of guys spiking for this year and next year potentially.
Yeah, okay.
And Adam Thielen, let's see.
Wow, that place is a dumpster fire. That's I thought they had money. I thought for sure they had money because they're not paying anybody.
Well, that's why they traded for Deontay Johnson because he's not making that much money for just swapping the picks. Yeah, like the way that it was left was just not good. Not good at all. And it's not looking like the guys they drafted are gonna change that. So
don't do that. Don't do that.
I don't know if they're gonna.
Don't do that.
I just don't know if they're gonna be able to hand T. Higgins like $150 million.
Well, the best case scenario is Xavier Legette is the next T. Higgins, except he's bigger, or he's
that is the hope.
Yeah,
that is the hope.
I'm not gonna lie. I had a choice of Michael Wilson or Xavier Legette, and I definitely just picked Michael. It's the first time I've ever, not picked Xavier Legette on AutoClick, which was.
I'm taking a lot of Michael Wilson. Seems like he is. I was not sure if the team was going to actually give him like that role, or if they were going to make him rotate or earn it from Zay Jones early on. And I also was down on his year 2 profile, but after digging into reception perception and what he's doing well and the injuries he went through, I'm in on this offense. I think it's undervalued, and it does really do seem like that the Cardinals smartly were like, look, we're going to give it to the young guys. We're going to let Marv Dortch and Michael Wilson and McBride be our guys, and Zay Jones' depth. And that was not clear when they acquired him, but I think that's pretty damn clear now. So I'm drafting a lot of Michael Wilson as an underrated year 2 guy in a very underrated offense.
There's a player that I've been wanting to take for a while. I'm not going to do it on this team. I'm only going to do it on a Jaden Daniels team, but not for a while. I should say since last night, since I saw a clip. I don't know why I said a while. Dan Quinn was talking about the wide receiver 2 and 3, and you were just talking about whatever. Did you see that? And he mentioned a couple names in there. He's like, you know what? He's like, he's like, Terry's obviously number 1, so that's really good for Terry. Like Terry is the number 1.
Yeah, if they're trying to figure out who their wide receiver 2 is, that just tells me that the Cliff beats his wide receiver 1, running back 1, and tight end 1 a lot. Then Terry's getting fed.
He was like, John's doing some good things. Diami Brown, he can go up and get it. And then he mentioned one guy. He said OZ. I don't know if you're familiar with OZ, Olamide Zaccheaus. He's like, Olamide Zaccheaus looking
You don't
really
know.
good
You don't think I'm familiar with Olamide Zaccheaus? My God.
But do you know that he's called OZ is what I meant.
Like, no, because he's fucking shitty and he doesn't get a nickname.
He's a former Falcon, so I the only reason I knew that. But I don't know, man. What if he's the slot guy? What if Zaccheaus is the slot guy? What if, because he didn't say Luke McCaffrey. He did not say Luke McCaffrey.
He didn't, but so that's where we can kind of lose the forest for the trees thing. We're not playing for week 1. If you're playing for week 1, go get OZ, as you call him. We're playing for week 17. Week 17, they will be reminded that Olamide is Olamide. That's what I used to call him. Olamide Zaccheaus.
Olamide is fine in the round 18. Olamide is fine.
Well, no. So Olamide does not get critical reps late in the season.
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not.
And then when the shit hits the fan, if they're not sold on Dotson, which I wouldn't be, I wasn't taking a lot of him. If he gets a slot, that's awesome for him. But like if he's rotating and trying to stave off his job before week 1, that's pretty brutal. for Jahan. So that tells me that the thesis of McCaffrey is by mid to late season, he should have a runway we've tried everybody else, put this motherfucker in. That's what Mingo got.
Yeah.
Like, as bad as Mingo was last year, they're like, we have tried everything else. It's not working. Get him out there. And with his athletic ability, and and he profiles as a slot. So if he gets the shot in the slot, he can make a lot work because Cliff does tend to feed the slot receiver. So I still like the McCaffrey out if he's got to beat out Dotson, who's already kind of fading, and Olamide Zaccheaus by late season to like be like a Greg Dortch PPR scam. I'm in. That sounds great. But I don't want to ignore that he's not overtaken Olamide yet, but he is a guy that like switched positions and it's like draft capital. And like I don't want to forget the thesis. I'm going to be scooping him up as he's like a free pick more oftentimes than not. I think the thesis is still intact. That said, I did take Jalen Hyatt as my last pick just because it seemed like he's rotating with Slayton. He's the younger guy, so by late season, they have no reason to like be running Slayton ahead of Hyatt. Hyatt's apparently had a strong camp despite having a pretty poor year 2 outlook. And if he's getting a lot of like pass play targets deep, spike week potential, blah, 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 I'll try to take a guy who's already got a role. But I don't want to forget that like when in doubt, throw darts at rookie receivers late. That's just a winning strategy. All right, chat. I'm going to need your help. We went toe to toe. We drafted a team. We barely serviced y'all at all. In fact, we just dumped information and takes on y'all left and right. So who drafted the better Puppy 3 team in this? And not to I don't want to taint the water. So I'm going to let PPR Tyler service his team first. All right, let us know what you drafted.
All right, we drafted we started off with he said I like that in the chat. We got Jamar Chase, and then we got Gibbs, a little rare there. Then we followed it up with Ayuk for a little week 17 stack there. And then I was like, I got to get my guy with ETN. So then we go in that position. ETN's my guy. I will keep drafting ETN. I'm ashamed that I'm only at 14% ETN. I would love to be higher. I'd like to get that up to like 15 plus at least. And then I'm looking at, I'm looking at the rest of my team. I'm like, what direction do we want to go? I really think KC is just going to be a unbelievable offense this year. So, kind of pairing that nice start that I like around a guy who's probably going to end up as the best quarterback to ever play. We'll go Mahomes. Yeah, we're not going to get Worthy probably. And Mahomes fell around too. So I was like, I'm definitely taking Mahomes here. We get it with Hollywood. Hollywood's not my favorite receiver to stack with there, but you know what? We get a little bit of we reach, but we get a little bit of a discount from where he used to go given the injury that he sustained. And then, yeah, Ladd falls into our lap. Addison falls into our lap. Trying to figure out tight end. I almost took Raheem Mostert like 10 picks after ADP instead of David Njoku ahead of ADP. I was like,
the people have no idea who you've taken because you were given 3 names for every pick you almost took or didn't take.
Okay, sorry. But you know what? Listen, I was just trying to give my thought process, all right? I was trying to
No. You're filibustering. What's your fucking team, bitch?
All right, fine. Mahomes, Herbert, Gibbs, ETN, Edwards, Gibson, Bigsby, Chase, Ayuk, Brown, McConkey, Addison, Wilson, Bateman, Baker, Njoku, Goddard, and my boy Jonnu Smith.
Not a Jared Wiley guy, I see.
No. I mean, not in redraft. No, definitely not.
Well, I mean, this isn't redraft. This is best ball. You need one spike with Mahomes.
Yeah, but I'd rather take Jonnu Smith, who's like good.
No, and that was another thing. Like Jonnu rotating with like Smythe and the other Miami tight ends, but every time he's getting on the field, he's getting manufactured touches, either running or catching passes. I think he got 2 targets and 1 rush, despite splitting snaps. Similar thing with like Jaden Reed and Tank Dell. It's like it's okay if they're splitting because if they're going to be prioritized, then that's a good thing. Okay, middling team at best because it has Rasiah Batesman and you know what? I thought Tank Bigsby was dead, but the dude is getting work.
He's not dead.
He's not looking dog shit, despite being a dog shit running back last year. So, got to give it that. All right, I think we both drafted 2 5.83s. All right, and then so my team finishing it up: Joe Burrow, Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Kyron Williams, Tyler Algier, Jalen Wright, Justice Hill, Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, Pickens, Brian Thomas, Keon Coleman, Jacoby Myers, Malachi Corley, Jalen Hyatt, and Brock Bowers, Cole Kmet, Hunter Henry. All right,
All right,
folks.
now give us the guys who you were going to take.
All right, now the guys I was going to take, paying more attention, was probably who would I have taken over Corley if I didn't take Corley?
Here we go. This is the content I like. Let's fucking get it.
The picks behind the picks. I probably would have taken Dortch or Wandale over Corley just because I like what they're doing in camp. I like the offenses they're attached to versus Corley, but that rookie upside, late season, they have no reason to keep playing Lazard, who they benched last year. He's got good juice. He's got good yak. This is probably going to be a really low ADOT, slow-paced team, so I'm fine with that. I've only seen one comment voting for me, so that means I win.
What the fuck? Get the poll up. Put the poll up there now. Put the poll up there now.
I can't, dude. They didn't make me a YouTube admin. I can't.
Dude, what? Are you kidding me?
All right, everyone in chat. It's say PPR
one
or
one for PPR, 2 for email. 1 for PPR.
There you go. One is
email.
PPR, 2 is emo. 30 seconds, and then we're gonna bring on our second very special brunch guest.
C40 and Purple Yosh. Oh, Hoosier. Okay, dude. Hoosier. F you, dude.
Hoosier being a bitch. He's saying both of our names. What a fence riding motherfucker.
Emo 2, 3, emo. God damn
These fucking chat rats. All right. And before I bring on Star Kindler, aka Ian, my homie. Oh, I got a private chat vote. Eat my ass. PPR.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
a little bit of housekeeping. The banner, as you see, guys, we are on the road to 3K subs. We are just shy of that. Actually, last I checked this morning, we were like almost to, we're like 112 or something away from 3K. So if you're not already subscribed to this awesome channel where we do brunch, we do Monday BBMs, we do Friday happy hours, we do DraftKings, we do redraft, we do Dynasty, we do it all, motherfuckers. So hit the sub, hit the like, leave a comment. Every comment you leave on every video on this channel, leave as many as you want. It gets you one entry to win $100 cold hard cash. Spend it however you please. I don't judge. It's God's money, not my money, bud. You get a $25 voucher to the merch shop. Many are asking, do we have an affiliate nut button link? We will. It's coming. So stand by. And 12 months free premium content. All like the rankings, weekly DFS breakdowns from Tom. You get your dynasty stuff. You get your redraft stuff. Premium channels. It's free, folks, to the guy that wins. Guy or gal. We don't judge here. Or, you know what? Your dog wins. I don't give a fuck. I'll pay a dog. I'll pay a dog to do whatever. Even better if it talks. So hit the sub, hit the like. We're giving that away right before week 1 kicks off. You know what, PPR, all I can say is Tyler won. And,
you won.
Only God knows. Only God knows what that means.
No, you won.
Without further ado, our special guest, Star Kindler, a.k.a. Ian, a.k.a.
What's up, boys?
OG Ship Chaser. How you doing, Ian?
I'm good. What's up, fellas? Final stretch.
I know.
Final
man.
stretch, baby. Here we go. I'm
dude.
ready. I'm ready to take off. I saw Emo Cowboys entries in the Puppy 3. Looks like he's not taking off as much as the rest of the community is. He's only at 17 Puppy 3 drafts. I'm at a nice 22. So
I'm sorry that I have a fucking social life.
I'm sorry that I'm sorry that Best Ball Guy doesn't. So
damn. GM.
So for those that may not know, Star Kindler, Ship Chaser extraordinaire in the Deposit Kingdom, one of the OGs. If I recall correctly, you made the finals in the first ever Best Ball Mania, correct?
Best Ball Mania 2 against Liam. I had three finals teams that year. Which is funny because that to me, like BBM 1, I played like 20 lineups and I just looked at them the other day and it doesn't make sense with the players that are like irrelevant to us now. So like I was going to like show you like, look how bad my first teams were. But there's like, I mean, I can't even give you like Carlos Hyde and like dudes that like we haven't thought of in years. Right. But BBM 1 was like a total wash. BBM 2, I discovered the Deposit Kingdom and like started totally worshiping the Bible of that cohort. And I got 3 through, all on the back of Mark Andrews. All 3 teams had Mark Andrews. That was like the year he was going like kind of strangely late. And then, I mean, when do you have a 1 in 50 chance of winning $1 million? Like that day, that sweat was just, oh man, Damn it.
That had
Liam.
to have been just agonizing and exciting all at the same time. I don't know how I would deal with that.
It was
well,
I ended up making my money back that year, but I'm grateful for the current payout structures for this year, because if that had obviously been this coming year, it would have been a different situation. But
yeah, and I get tempted every once in a while to like up my 69 BBM entry bit to like maxing just because of the flat payout. But I'm like, it doesn't necessarily increase your odds. And if I'm gonna do most of my heavy stuff, may as well just make the bullets count. I don't have to act like Davis Maddock. If I have 150 and not give a shit about half of them, then what really is the difference between doing 69 quality drafts?
How many are you at right now?
I think I'm at 40. I think I have 29 left.
Because it's filling fast. Like I'm surprised by how quickly it's finally filling.
Well, with that said, what do we want to draft? Do we want to draft a puppy and get stupidly weird? Do we want to draft a Chow Chow, or do we draft one of my few remaining BBMs left? What do you want to
You get to choose, my friend. This is a inaugural, big moment.
I think, the fill rate is terrifying because I would like to stream my 69th draft and make it a big old thing.
Yes.
But these sickos, you know what? Let's hop into Chow Chow. Let's do some Chow.
I haven't done any of those. I've been kind of rolling back my involvement, just focusing on BBM and the puppies. But
how many BBMs do you have left?
11.
Oh,
I am clinging. I keep signing on at like 1:30 in the morning, hoping to get crazy and get the most uninspiring. Like, I've drafted 60 of these teams. Like, great, cool. I'll just tack on Diami Brown and it'll feel different, even though
right.
But I have 11 left.
Sheesh. I gotta ask real quick, dude. This fucking setup behind you is awesome. What's going on back here,
dude? Recovering musician. That's kind of the world I come from. I'm a famed not ball knower. For those who want to know or care, like I know you guys are talking about yak and yards per route run and all of these, and I'm learning as I go. But I have to like Google what a RAS score was this year. And
well, you're in luck, because if Scott Barrett gets his way, we will never refer to RAS ever again. We will simply refer to the ass score that he has compiled.
Yes, I'm down. I'm so down.
So you love to like, I mean, we would call it dumpster diving, but like go for like the garbage gym guys. Like you were drafting Jordan Whittington, or what he's been known as lately, Jordan Whittapuka.
That's right.
Like 2 months ago. So like, what's your thought process behind, like you seem like you were one of the OG scroll the F down guys, not because of any sort of mandate from the badge bros above, but because that's what your heart desires, these like unknown guys early. So talk us through like some of the guys you've targeted, how they've kind of panned out this year, and kind of what your thought process now that these guys are being like pushed up and they're not like no names anymore.
Yeah, now that they're getting drafted 100% of the time, it's like you got to go further down the depth chart. So, now we're back to Tutu Atwell. Just kidding. I'm not actually drafting him. But
I've drafted a couple shares of Tutu. I'm not gonna lie. He's a spike week guy.
He's gonna be on the team, but
he's gonna be on the team. He's gonna catch like 2 touchdowns for 60 yards, and then hopefully one of those comes in week 17.
I mean, that's why they call him 2-2. The 2 catches, 2 touchdowns. Easy game.
Well, I don't know what the origin of that was. I mean, one of my 3 BBM2 finals teams had Emir Smith-Marset on it. And that year he was a Viking.
Yeah.
That particular game, I don't remember the full context, but it was like their wide receiver core was decimated. It was a game people were targeting and excited about. And I'm sitting there with Josh Allen to Diggs, with a Nick Chubb and a Mark Andrews, and then this guy that's 0% owned in the whole 160. I think there was 160 people in the final. And I just remember, I think Pete reviewed some teams that year on stream, and that was one of them. And he was like, shout out to Smith Emir Marset, whatever his name is.
Right.
Which at the time, I think it was kind of like, oh, here we go, just drafting some weirdos. But like that guy catches a touchdown, and that's the difference of like 40 grand, right?
Yeah, those levers in the finals, it's so easy to get wrapped up in like week 1, but it's like and then we only have so much control of that, right? Because like pods, variants, all that, and then random spikes. Amari Cooper not really being that heavily owned until he has like a fucking nuclear week in week 16. Now he's like half the finals. But if you can draft guys on your rosters that are like sub 20% owned, it's very likely you might be the only person with that player in the finals, and that's a huge lever if they fucking pop.
100%. And I started drafting. I set out this year. I think I was gonna like, I'll do 20 BBMs. Like, I was really heartbroken by the way last year went down, mostly because of Amari Cooper, because I was way out on him, and he knocked out so many people. Right, everyone kind of fell victim to all of us. And so he's obviously a stud. He's still younger than I want him to be, based on how long I've seen his name in draft pools. I started playing fantasy in like 2015 or 16. And before that, by the way, I was like a sports or stupid music is awesome guy. And it's now completely flipped. The fact that I even still have a drum set behind me is kind of hilarious, because I took this whole year away from touring. And I've been drafting fantasy teams like a DGen. But anyway, I digress. I can think forward to being in maybe week 15 or 16, or if any of us are lucky, 17, and looking at my team and just didn't want to look at DeMarcus Robinson. I didn't want to look at CEH. I didn't want to see these names that we were drafting, not for bad reason, but because we start so early in the process. There's these big months-long gaps of no news, no information, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, how do I get leverage? How do I feel good about, because now everyone's drafting, you see Jordan Mason a lot. You see De'Ami Brown a lot. I got sniped on him. He went in the 15th the other day, and I was like, well, I never thought that was going to happen. Braylon Allen, he's been going high, but like even Tucker Kraft and Michael Mayer are guys that like I just kind of never stopped drafting. But you can see how Bowers smashes as we all want him to. But you get to the finals and it's a Michael Mayer week, and everyone goes, "Whoa, what?"
I mean, we kind of just got a glimpse of that. Like AOC rolls out, throws a flat route to Harrison Bryant, who runs it in for the touchdown, and at the tight end position, that's all that matters. Is like a touchdown could make or break your tight end mattering at all, or winning the whole thing. Like Juwan had that 16-point game last finals, but previously like Pat Kerrane won BBM with I don't know, 8 or 11 points from Kittle. It wasn't like a nuke. It was just that allowed him to get there, and then his tight end doing anything, which is kind of why like multiple tight ends matter, and then why it doesn't make any sense to take like the chalky tight ends. Like part of the fun about the punt tight ends, take gross guys. Like ideally you unmine like this Trey McBride. We're on the clock. Who are we taking here in the chow, guys? Tell me what you're feeling.
I'd say Bijan personally.
I'll go Bijan. I have very little Bijan actually as of late. I started strong on Bijan, but I stopped drafting him in like July for some reason. I don't really know why.
I am always down to slather some Bijan mustard on my chow.
Oh, yes, you are. It's the official mustard of the Atlanta Falcons, by the way.
Yeah, all this Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis mixing in stuff. LaFleur kind of likes to, give a guy too much work, a la Dalvin Cook, and I'm like, you know what? I think that was always part of my thesis for like Jets implosion potential, and then like this stupid who's going to mix in blah 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 crap with LaFleur is like this little mini tier break for me to have Bijan over Brees. Love both talents. I think Brees potentially more talented as like yak explosion guy, but it's just like if we're talking, especially in this contest where it's like what 2 of 12, 2 of 8, 58 person final, I'm gonna play this kind of like I'm playing the big dog. It's like kind of like an advancement style tournament, and safety with the early stuff is not a bad thing, because I think I can draft very cleanly, very smartly the rest of the draft to like help out the spike potential elsewhere.
Sure. I got scared off of Bijan, I think, with the Algier news. And I've always really liked Algier, except for last year when I was like, I drafted a ton of Bijan and I was just heartbroken. I was like, what is happening? I don't think he's going away. I don't think it will be as extreme as it was last year. I hope it's not, even though I have an endless supply of Tyler Algier, but it's that's another one of those spots where, I worry about getting all the way there and then it just being the other guy that week,
It's definitely my neck of the woods. I can promise you right now. I can assure you. I can put the skepticism to sleep. Tyler Algier, he'll be involved, but he's not going to be like this is the comparison I always find myself going back to, is the Zeke Pollard thing from a couple of years ago. Whereas like Zeke, he was kind of getting those touchdowns, but I don't think I think Bijan's going to be the goal line back. It's because Bijan is a workhorse type of profile. He does have, he's like the weight, the height's all there. And Pollard really wasn't. So that's why they use Zeke, and Zeke is just a great goal line runner. Algier will be involved. I think it'll be more I think it'll be more like the Jags try to have Tank Bigsby be involved less. Like they don't want, ETN. They don't want Bijan doing absolutely everything. Like they just want, a quality back that's going to give them a breather. Also, too, guys, I have to head out. So I will see you guys
appreciate you,
later.
bro.
That Star Killer, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, man.
Put a username to a face. Also, I'll leave you with this. There's a concert in Target Field last night. I had no idea who Smashing Pumpkins was. So there you go. There's a good
Oh
one.
my
I
God.
love
I
it.
had no idea. You guys make your pick. I'll see you later.
See you, dude.
Waddle, HN. I know you're an HN, bro. Cup, what do you want to do here, bud?
HN or Kyron? Let's lean in. Let's lean into the
Let's do
chaos.
HN.
Yeah.
If we've got the floor of Bijan, let's go chase the ceiling of HN. I like that. That's hot.
Hell yeah. This feels terrifying. I think I'm kind of the social pariah of our Discord. I feel like there's this perpetual eye roll every time I post a team or a combo that I'm like, yeah, you see? And so we're already like way behind the 8 ball. Like this year for me, like when I first saw ADP, which by the way, ADP, which everyone says is a construct, right? It's the overused joke.
Famous.
It is. It's somebody makes those. There is a human being or a few human beings that especially when you add the rookies in, right? Like, and I don't know the process of how Underdog initially delivers the ADP to us sickos and then we manipulate it. But there's a couple guys that I thought were Hollywood Brown. I thought was grossly mispriced.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of some other options.
In which direction? Overpriced or underpriced?
Overpriced.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like the amount of mouths to feed. I love the Chiefs. I'm gravitating more towards the Cardinals this year. I think a lot of people are, because as far as like skeleton key brain goes, it's kind of like, how do I get an elite quarterback and an elite tight end and an elite wide receiver potentially on a team that people are pricing kind of halfway back to like how terrible they did last year? Because when Collar came back last year, I faded him last year because I was like, oh, he's hurt. Like, nah, I'm not playing that game. And he came back and I was like, would have been nice to have even in that dysfunction, his production. Right. So I don't know. I just look at the board and I'm like, how can we get these skeleton key builds? And it's not a conversation of like, what kind of team do you want to build? It's like, what kind of zero RB or hyper or double anchor do you want to build this year because of ADP?
Yeah, no, I agree with that, because if you draft like everybody else, I think like going out way outside of structure can hurt you, obviously, but also drafting like everybody else may not help. Do you have a lean here between receivers?
I'd probably either try to do a Houston thing or just happy to take Devonta. I love him. I was super heavy on him last year.
I like Devonta or like Diggs. Let's go ADP, and
sure.
I think Diggs is nice, obviously, but I don't mind going after it. Smith has had such a strong camp, and if he gets that Keenan Allen type of role, like they're kind of hinting at, could be a nice smash.
What's your true take on the 3 Texas, 4 if you want to count Xavier Hutchinson, wide receivers and
I can't believe you just said Hutchinson as if he's anything. I mean, my take has been pretty consistent that this is why I had like 30% Nico in the big board. Nico was locked in to starting and being that. We saw that yesterday, like 17 of 18 snaps on the field of the starters. And then it comes down to Diggs and Tank rotating inside-outside, because both guys can win both inside-outside. Tank won better last year outside versus inside, and Diggs, being the older guy, might benefit from working out of the slot a la Adam Thielen. Not that his drop-off was as precipitous, but like his ability to win on routes and utilize his speed and his shiftiness makes plenty of sense out of the slot. So, but those guys seem pretty interchangeable. And so thus far, they've been showing us that they kind of want to run Nico and Diggs as like the main 2 with Tank being the slot, but then they kind of rotated a little bit yesterday. So I think they're just going to get their best players on the field. And then when Tank is on the field, he's going to be prioritized like Reed was, because Stroud and he have such a good connection and Tank was so good. So my take is that Nico's probably the safest for routes and snaps. And then it's just going to be, these guys are going to rotate having Mondo spike weeks, unless Stroud does that like Ohio State, Peyton Manning 2015, like 35, 45 touchdown season, which I think is in the range of outcomes of the middling Mixon, who's now battling a hamstring injury.
Right. Yeah. I went heavy on Tank. I'm looking at the queue here.
I'm assuming you want to go wide receiver here. unless you
Yeah.
want to pair with Hurts.
No, I don't want to go. I don't want to lose you followers and subs. So we have to click the wide receiver here.
You and I, we're drafting a Chow Chow team. This is about vibes.
Man, I have so little Cooper again this year, but I'm happy to take the stack if you want to just take Hurts and we figure it out later. There are some interesting names late in drafts that in the wide receiver conversation that I'm very comfortable clicking as sort of, I keep using the word skeleton key, but it's like, how do you backfill like a poor start to a team, like as far as the wide receiver power, right?
I'm not going to make Ian hop on the drum set and start playing some music in the background unless he wants to. No, that's good.
I'm retired, man. I'm best ball pro now.
He said he's taking a year off. You got to throw this man back on the drum set. Dance, monkey, dance. No,
that's right.
I have a lot of Cooper, and I like Cooper a lot. I had a feeling maybe with this turn being the way it is, let's tempt fate a little bit. Let's try to build a super team with a build like this, because we have guys. We've mentioned skeleton key guys before, but the rookie quarterbacks are obviously an easy lever to pull against the elite quarterbacks, and I don't fear trying to catch up with that with those profiles available.
I have 1% Amari Cooper in 626 drafts.
I have a lot more than that. And what up, Updog? Pretty sure he's in this draft with us as well.
He is, yeah. I think I sniped Updog on I can't remember if it was drafters or something, and I actually felt bad about it. Sorry,
Get
bro.
sniped, bitch. No, I don't feel bad for him. He wasn't Updog third place in the drafters last year.
Oh yeah, I don't feel bad anymore. Sorry.
Yeah, but he crushed it last year.
Interesting.
Let's see. Yeah, I had a feeling that QBs might kind of fall in this environment, so I was fine prioritizing. You still want to go receiver here, or are you tempted by?
I want to lean young just to bounce. I'm happy to go Lamar and just kind of shut it down till later, or maybe Jaden Reed. But yeah,
let's do some Jaden Reed.
Yeah.
If we're gonna pass on stacked Hurts, I don't think the way to catch up is an unstacked Lamar, knowing we're not going to get Flowers or Andrews, and Reed is another quarterback out to potentially catch back up.
I have Jaden Reed. I'm trying to look on the Best Ball Explorer quickly. I have 19.8% Jaden Reed because I just started hammering him and then started thinking about it. We start getting reports on Wicks and Dobbs, and I'm not a Christian Watson guy. I have 2% of him. And I'm probably going to get burned on that one. But what I love about the Packers is you can skeleton key. I'll say it again, draft a great base and then just grab Love and anyone who's left, because it is going to fluctuate from week to week who's getting the spikes. RIP Marshawn Lloyd. Hopefully we don't lose out on that as being a good.
I hope not. He is still my my highest. We'll expose ourselves here on Best Ball Brunch. Marshawn came down from 33% to still 28% is my top exposure here, and I am a big Cooper guy.
Oh, okay.
I'm chasing, and they confirmed it just a few weeks ago, maybe last week, about pace of play. They're going to try to lead the league in pace. I'm not a big Judy guy. I'm not a big Watson guy, but I think Watson gave Cooper plenty of a floor. If Chubb is hurt and I'm fading him for the season, and Jerome Ford is a guy, but if they're going to go spread offense, high pace, I think that sets up Watson very, very nicely. And if Deshaun just disappears, Winston and Cooper is hot sex. So I'm all about it.
All aboard. I love it. Yeah, look at that. Oh, CEH. There it is.
It is what it is, guys. The RBs behind him are battling it out for RB3. So even while he is pissing and shitting himself from PTSD, no, all due respect, mental health, whatever. It's funny the way they word it is so funny. But yeah, these are my guys. These are my stands, and I'm trying to pivot a little bit as we get more information. I'm trying to be, strong opinions help loosely.
My top is Jalen McMillan at 32.6%.
That's how you win millions, by drafting.
Followed by Chase Brown at 28.3. Now, here's where I'm getting worried, because last year I felt like I was just last year was an off year, I think, for a lot of people, but me specifically. I'm getting worried because I'm Brian Thomas, Worthy, Rice, Brown, McMillan, Brian Robinson, Romeo Dobbs, and then Jaden Daniels. Like, I've been windmilling these guys since April, and I never stopped. I never stopped buying the Rice dip. I never stopped Addison. I'm drafting a ton of him. I'm getting worried because it's like when all your priors start hitting like way before. Brian Thomas for me.
I'm so glad you said that. I wanted to. Yeah. You start getting worried. You might be ignoring any potential signal that doesn't, like, confirming priors is nice until it's like, are you going too heavily and ignoring some other good things you weren't already confirmed on but are being confirmed now?
And it's like, do I win now or do I win later? Or, because a lot of people don't have it both ways, So I'm looking, there isn't a single player. Marshawn Lloyd at 25%. I'm a little nervous about that one. But other than that, I have 20% HN. I have 24% Kyron. That was one of the things I wanted to touch on, is like when I saw the initial ADPs and I saw like Devontae Adams and Deebo Samuel and all these guys that like I really love as players, but I'm like second round picks. Like there was like was it either last year or the year before, where Deebo and Ayuk were like 5th or 6th round picks. And I'm like, I understand what their ceiling is, but in that offense, which we love, I was like, I'm going to consolidate around Kyron, who I think as a community, we're slightly overthinking how fragile he is.
Oh yeah.
And so I have very little, all of those second round receivers. Like I skipped over, I have 6% Nico, 5% Olave, 4% Cup, 2% Mike Evans, 3% Metcalf. Like I skipped over so many of these guys, and I've just basically built as many exciting combinations of first round wide receivers anchored with a Kyron or an HN, and just kind of went from there, which is a pretty big lever to pull. And very risky.
Well, especially when I think folks forget that like 50% of the finals are going to be made up by sharps. And so you're not competing against the donkey teams, you're competing against the sharp teams. And I think we could, like, for Fareed won last year, consuming all of this content, like putting actionable. I saw like those the sharps have won the last few years from like how they play the game, how they stack, how they correlate. And so I'm not trying to beat out the donkey 50%. I'm trying to beat out the sharp 50% that are likely to make up the top 50. We've got Hollywood, we've got Connor. What do you want to do here?
Not Hollywood. He might fall further. I'm either Connor, because I don't have a lot, or Najee, sadly to say. And I'm not really worried about the Warren thing from yesterday, but I have again, I am a company man, so I have a lot of Warren.
I like Connor more than Najee, simply because of the pass catching upside, but I don't mind that at all.
And it's a nice hedge for my what do I have? I have 16% Kyler Murray stack, like passing stacks essentially. So it's a nice hedge for me. I have very little Connor.
Yeah, and you were mentioning kind of how you were attacking early ADPs. This was my big board. I maxed the big board in all the big board tournaments. Pay no attention.
Shout out to Kareem Hunt.
Dude, you know what? Laugh all you want, but this led to this. Okay, it was 0 running back. Go after it. I was like, okay, if this running back class is going to be dog shit, let me go after the free cheap veterans. But so like
he's still live to sign with the team. I mean, it's not over.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's not over, but I'm not talking about it until it happens, because obviously.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I tried to be heavy on Kyron, but that came at the expense of just trying to be really heavy on guys like Evans and Nico and Worthy. I'm happy with how I played that, to be very honest, because I tried to just be heavy nuke guys, veterans that might be too low or slept on, and had like stupid high ceilings building, 0 running back or anchor running back builds. Like you said, I'm trying to lever the teams that I was playing against, and knowing that while rookies are very powerful, it's probably better if I build the back half of my teams with them, because a bunch of them could be absolutely nothing. And even that said, like, it seems like plenty are panning out right now, with even now Brendan Rice potentially being in the starting lineup for the Chargers.
Draft a Pat so we can draft Brendan Rice. I'm fine with that.
3
Oh,
levels.
that's the other big. So this is my other big, and I know I'm going to get some criticism for this and it's deserved, but I have actually, so my philosophy this year, excuse me, was to kind of ignore round 2 receivers a little bit and focus on those anchor RBs. And I'm looking at the board here. We'll continue this diatribe when we make our pick. Yep.
Any receivers, or you want to do big cock Brock Bowers?
I'm waiting for Updog because he's gonna bleed the clock.
Do it, coward.
Payback.
Do it. You already have a fucking tight end, bitch. You weren't gonna do it.
I'll do Bowers. I'll do Warren if he's falling. It's not really it's a little bit of a fall.
I think Bowers makes more sense here, considering we have 3 awesome running backs.
And I like Aiden. I was encouraged by a little bit of what I saw by him last year as it pertains to a last round undrafted quarterback. Fields was sort of the extreme version of that, but now that's happening in every draft. There's also the Steelers are going to be traumatic. Whether it works out for everybody or not, it's going to be a traumatic ride following Pickens, Freiermuth, Roman Wilson, potentially RIP. But I have you beat. I have an uglier name at the top of my my big board exposures.
All right,
Devon,
who do we think the ugly name is? You got some guesses, and
you have a nickname for this person. That's the hint.
Oh, there we go. And then I asked people what their skeleton keys were. We got Jalen Wright, Donta Foreman, who is back practicing and got a lot of the short yardage stuff like we prognosticated he would. We got not CEH, so Rude Fad. Khalil Herbert always was, always will be until the end of times. Kenny Gainwell, not going away. Still Sirianni's little boy.
Famously, I would draft Gainwell over Bijan and CMC forever. Apparently, that's the thing we're doing. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. What's your okay?
It's
hold
Rasai.
on. We just got. Did we get a threat? Is Updog threatening us, bitch? Come at us, bitch. Snipe you right back.
100 people? What does that mean?
100%.
100%. Oh.
All right. Your top guys, Rasayat Bateman.
Behind a 33% Devon HN, it's 29% Rasayat Bateman. Followed by
big board, he was like a 17th, 18th round pick though.
Yeah, ADP 186 it says when I click his name. I don't know.
All right, we're on the board.
I would like to grab Jaden Daniels here.
Attaboy. I was hoping you'd say that. Get a little week 17 correlation and our true skeleton key lever versus passing on Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson.
It opens up some really that's a team where there are now some names that we can click. I mean, I was investigating. I never actually drafted him, but Carlos Washington was the RB3 sort of running in camp, and he was. I mean, I just look at Twitter. I'm not throwing darts at at unofficial depth charts. Just saying that's a funny name. Yeah. There was a week where Marcus Rosemary Jack Saint had this ridiculous catch, and I was like, rookie, who knows? He's not the answer.
No one knows. Only God knows. But also, I feel like this necessitates do the honors. Oh, there we go. All right.
Who has McLaurin? Are we making them mad right now?
Probably.
No, they passed on him. He's at the 2.
Oh, polite hater in a lot of my rooms lately. Yeah, they went.
He's nice about it.
You know what? If more people could politely hate, the world would be a better place.
Empathy. We need more of it.
This is funny. Why would anyone take Bateman? Masochism. I mean,
fair.
I'm a Bateman hater, but I will say that the reason why I did not take a lot of Bateman in the big board is because I wanted to chase higher ceilings. But if you chase those higher ceilings, you could play it one of two ways, right? You could go veterans early, rookies late, or texturing them in, or you could do rookies early with the expensive rookies and then tack on the safe veterans late. I think both are viable, and I don't shame anyone for doing that. So I understand if Bateman was your way to attack running backs early, some of those early receiver rookies, then getting a guy that's gonna be on the team and have a role is not the worst thing in the world, especially if it was your stack for Lamar.
Right.
If he stays healthy, it seems like he'll have at least the OBJ role to himself, which is 3 to 4 targets. You hope one is a touchdown. That's just how it's reading to me, at least.
Well, and he was getting the Jameson Williams treatment of late, and that far ago. May. I mean, no, it was January.
All right, we're on the clock. We're getting a little boxed out here. Do we
Spears or Goddard for me, or Dowdle?
T-Law for Brian Thomas?
Yeah, let's do it. I like that.
Yeah, I think if we're gonna get kind of boxed out a receiver here, I think get our quarterback stacks and potentially get us an out. It's not fun, but there's an out coming up that he'll at least be at ADP.
I like it.
Yeah, I like Spears and Dowdle, but I think when you do the running backs like we do, you kind of just use that to push it a little bit further.
Yeah.
Thad thinks he's about to blow. I'm about to blow.
That guy loves capital letters, man.
Thad's whole thing is he is one of our beloved olds in the vast channels. He has strong takes and he only types in capital letters and exclamations, and we love it.
Love it. We love the support.
Herbert and Hyatt are the skeleton keys. Justin Herbert or Khalil Herbert? I was kind of down on Hyatt having such a poor year 2 profile, but yeah, he's apparently had a strong camp and year 2 guy that could just get opportunity as the year goes on because they fade guys like, last year Slayton contract out.
For me, this has been the year of ignoring the FUD, the Rice, the Addison, the big dips that have happened. Watching Daniel Jones play yesterday, I have a lot of neighbors. I have a lot of Wandale. I have a lot of the late round running backs. Updog's on the other side. Gabe Davis for me here to get that double. I think he's a guy who's left. He's a guy who's left for dead a little bit. Gabe Davis,
and he's playing he and Brian Thomas are the starting 2 receiver set guys. So it's
and I'm way out on Kirk. So that's the other thing I wanted to touch on was I looked at my success rates last year, which sucked because I had all my initial priors and player takes and feelings and vibes, and I drafted on those. And as we get more information, my teams went further and further away from advancing. Most of the teams that advanced last year for me out of the regular season were early teams. And so what I realized I was doing, I didn't really do a data dig on this, but what I realized I was doing was I was taking my initial player takes, and as the season went on, I was drafting off the new news, but then I was also hedging off of, I have a lot of, whoever, a lot of Bijan. So now I'm going to just take Algier. So now my late teams are weaker at running back, and they have Carson Steele on them, which I'm drafting Carson Steele, by the way. But it's this sort of crossing of the streams that, just balancing the news and not that I'm not using overlays this year. I tried them for a month. I don't want to look at a 0% Amari Cooper and then start auto clicking him over guys that I have a really gut feeling.
Yeah, I think you if you have takes and you have alpha, I think at the end of the day, it's all so varied. I don't think being a flat, you can play the game flat, correlated, and just let the chips fall where they may. I would rather try to push my edge everywhere I can. For every edge I'm going to be wrong on, like last year, for every time I was wrong about, God, who was my biggest miss? And now I've spent months trying to hype up my wins. I was definitely wrong on God damn it, who was it? I'll have to go look at my exposures last year. I was wrong a couple times, but for every time I was wrong, I was super fucking right on Kyron. I was right on Puka being worth a shot. I was right, and I wasn't the only one, but chase Nico Collins up the board. Go get that stuff. Chase CJ Stroud's probably a good quarterback. He was taken early. He shouldn't be going way later just because of blah, 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 blah. All right, we are on the clock. 2-3-5-1 build. We've got plenty of optionality here. Call your shot here. What are we doing?
I can't come on your stream and not do something ridiculous. I would like Algier here to go with Bijan.
Okay, we're hand-cucking in the chow.
See, we got it. It's been a pretty pedestrian, polite team so far. You've pushed me. I haven't really pushed you yet, but that's me pushing you, which is why you had me on. So I got to deliver the brand.
Gobbler, I can't be wrong about something that hasn't happened yet. I will not accept this.
What's up, Gobby?
How's it going, Gob? And then let's see. Ball is Life asked, how long till Cam Akers takes Damian Pierce's job? You should be scared as a Pierce drafter because Pierce had one shot as the incumbent to make it work, and he still looked worse than the guy with
No
an
ACLs.
Achilles that has been operated on twice.
Yeah.
Like, that's not good. That to me, that tells me you don't have a lot of juice and you still don't really understand the system very well. And then Thad calling his shot. This is his Bateman line for the year. And obviously Tom is having to run to the bathroom so that his children do not see him squirt his pants at that stat line.
Y'all are the best. I love this. I love you guys.
Dude, I found out this morning. I wake up and I've got like a notification on my Discord in the Sanctuary channel. And hold on. Oh, let's see. Wait to pick who went. God damn it, Polite Hater! You're taking all my dudes. Taking all my dudes. Let's see. We could do.
What point do you throw ADP out the window? I think this year it's a different conversation than it's been in previous years.
I'm throwing it out the window right about here. I'm good with Musgrave, and then I'm good with attacking some receivers.
Do you want to just take McMillan for the brand?
I do want to do that. Get fucked up, dog. I refuse to be sniped. Nah, much love up, dog. Let's see. What was I? Oh, you know what? Let's go. I will go pull up last year's rankings and exposures and see who I got miserably wrong.
Oh gosh, I'll do the same.
Oh, yeah. One look at my exposures, like, oh, it comes rushing back to me. I was stupidly high on Daniel Dimes and Geno Smith. I think the Geno Smith thing was right. It got poor run out because of the tackle situation and the really shitty offensive structure, but I probably should have been a little bit more cognizant of that. I was wrong on like just take all the rookies like Jason and QJ. I was very wrong on I was like Miami backs are valuable. I unfortunately took 30% Wilson instead of
Jeff Wilson.
But I did have 17% A chance. So it's like, what are you going to do? So in that regard, it was like mix in all the guys. If the backfield is valuable, take your guys. Let's see. Anybody else a huge miss? Rashad Bateman, big miss. But then my strong stands on fade Miles for Chuba, fade the FUD on Brees. He's set up to smash from like a like medically historical data perspective. I was wrong on Tony Pollard, but my God, we were all wrong, but somewhat still right.
Right.
I was wrong that I was right that Dawson Knox would cap Kincaid, and Kincaid might be a little fake, but he got the injury and he still smashed by the end of the season. So I should have been cognizant of that. That like by the end of the season, he could still be a thing. I was not. And then my biggest misses were when Treylon Burks had a bad camp and was hurt and wasn't getting on the field, and Kupp and Kelsey got injured late. Instead of buying the knife, like the falling knife, let those go, like accept that those guys are gone. Late injuries of that ilk and a camp that bad should not be ignored. And that's why I faded guys like QJ, who are getting outplayed. And so, like, despite anything Jim Harbaugh was going to say, I was not going to buy this bullshit. I did the same thing with Bateman. I might be burned on that, but I don't know. I'm going to fade the guys that have looked middling to bad and haven't made me pay for it. Okay. Who do we take here?
I mean, we could make a third stack with Justin Herbert at the discount. I know that's not advisable with I'll do Dobbins. Don't love him. I'll do, Gibson, Braylon Allen, Bucky, maybe any of those guys. Oh boy.
You know what? Let's make Herbert work. Let's make Herbert work. If he's gonna have a bunch of dudes that he's throwing to, we'll take the little discount and make it work. I'm okay with that. This is gonna be a weird team. Let's just lean into that.
Well, and I think we get overconfident in, what feels comfortable, what like the data shows, and it's like every year, what's the big one for me this year is I'm like full fading CMC, which I've seen a number of people do. I have 3% through, not full fade, but I have 3% through 600 drafts, and that's just on Underdog. For me, it's like CMC did everything we needed him to do last year to justify an early pick, maybe except for smashing in week 17, and he wasn't what you needed. So it's like, it just proves the point that I think running back you make up for late.
I'm also okay with this being a 5 running back build. Two things quickly. Everybody's agreeing that you can just kind of throw ADP out around. Exactly. 5 steps ahead up, dog. Can't be sniped if I'm always scrolling down. because I talked about this like a few months ago with I think BBG and PPR Tyler, is that like all these picks seem good and you're afraid to step out of line until you get to resurrection season and you're like, oh, 5 rounds were completely dog shit, desolate.
Useless.
Like, fuck it.
Dortch for me.
Yeah, I'm so we gravitated the same player. Oh god, this guys,
Yep.
this is what love is. This is what love.
This is what love is, man. We're doing it.
Also, Artillery Frost. We did a solid 20 minutes on JMO. You just gotta scroll back to like probably 10 minutes into the stream with PPR Tyler and I, and we vamped way too long on JMO. And I think we just concluded that like better and best ball.
Yeah.
We could have kept that 20-minute talk to better and best ball.
I don't even play season long or DFS anymore. Mostly because I spend all my money doing this, but like
exactly.
I don't want to manage, you know. Oh yeah, Danny Dimes just went off to Charlie. What's up, Charlie?
Yo, Charlie. We gotta get Charlie on.
That scared the living bejeebus out of me yesterday, watching him be Danny Jones. Like what? Am I wrong about that, by the way? I thought he was dating Kay Adams. Or was I misinformationed on the
Wait,
Twitter
what are we
machine?
I'm lost. What are we talking about?
Daniel Jones. Is he dating Kay Adams? Because I was like, maybe he'll have some swag. Like
Kay Adams dating, dude. I've been told he's been dating multiple people.
Right.
And 4 days ago, Yahoo.com says not currently dating anyone. So I think
I got.
Well, are they just boning? I don't know, man. Also,
I don't understand it. Good for him.
Chat, go Google who Daniel Dimes is consensually making sweet love to.
But did that performance at all like scare you about all the late Giants guys that everyone's been drafting all year? Or am I just
no? Because Dimes is bad. His whole thing was rushing upside. I think that's capped efficiency for at least the first 4 to 6 weeks. Like statistically, we saw the same thing with Kyler last year, especially like laterally. And he's not that good of a rusher either. He's just like a rusher. He'll just take off and go. So like straight line might be okay, but like behind a line that still looks bad. My whole thing is like it was okay to take the late guys. They hit, like Wandale, Slayton, and even Hyatt all hit, but it was because you just took 1 or 2 of them. Stacking them with Dimes really hampered you when he went down or he got when he's not playing well. So it's like I'm okay taking 1 of Neighbors, and if I take 2 Giants guys, I'm not taking a bunch because the odds of him elevating the passing game is just so unlikely that I'm okay saying, well, who am I gonna take up, dog?
We got no bet. Yeah, for me it's Jordan Mason. I am buying the living.
Shut it down. I'm good with that.
Yep, I am buying the living shit out of the minimal but very loud camp hype, because he flashed last year. Like there were stories from last year about like maybe this guy's better than Eli, and the second that weird report about CMC's like very minor injury a couple weeks ago, I was like, every draft, don't care where he goes.
Bonafide these nuts, am I right? Yes. Yes, I the Jordan Mason. Shanny is so weird with the running backs. It's like the answer is whichever one he decides is a thing, really and truly. And so right now it seems like they might be saying, Elijah, man, you just can't stay healthy. And then 4 months from now, they could be like, Elijah's healthy. We're gonna give him all the work. Like,
right?
Who fucking knows? My whole thing was like the Isaac Garindo thing was so canary in the coal mine. Like, this is a fast guy that he's jizzing himself over to take in the war room. And once it gets to camp, he goes, oh, he's not Raheem Mostert? I don't care. You know, It's like, that's it.
Yeah.
You still got to read blocks. Like, Shanahan's the guy is like, you're going to run my system or you don't see the fucking field. I do not care. And, you know, that shit matters. That's why, like, the Ricky Pearsall thing, I won't be surprised if Jacob Cowling is the guy at the end of the season that's actually doing something, because he's been healthy. He's not a nobody. And he's at least been available to, like, learn the system and do the shit.
So we have to stack Herbert, and
do we take Chark or do we take Rice instead?
I think we go Rice. Rice.
I agree.
Take Rice now, and then we grab a fun last round tight end that I mean, there's so many good options this year buried in this late round tight end world that
there are truly.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I have thoughts. you greedy bitches. I'm calling my shot right now, though. I know exactly if Gobbler takes a tight end. I know exactly who he's taking, which is gonna make me sad because he would be one of my preferred targets.
I'm gonna leave the last pick up to you, my friend.
All right.
I feel like I've had my way with this lineup.
I mean, I got Bijan, one of my favorite clicks in the first round. That's everything after that's gravy.
I mean, and when you I guess we'll maybe look at it in the team view once we finish our last pick, but I feel like we've got a lot of game theory kind of like built into this. That's
Our
slightly
riddled with game theory.
Yeah, like I don't know. There's we're buying the news, and this was a good combo of like your priors and my priors.
Yes,
you know.
Yes.
I don't know if I pushed you into any players, but you definitely got me on Cooper. So,
I mean, I'm definitely not handcuffing Bijan, so that's
Right.
not a guy I'm taking. So that
Right.
there you go. And then probably no, I think the rest we were pretty much in lockstep on.
yeah, this fell. I mean, Updog failed, man. Like I don't feel like I lost a single player that I wanted. Sorry, bro.
More like fucked it up, dog.
Maybe you could get it right here. Oh, who are you gonna take?
Oh.
We are not taking Zach Ertz. Denied.
I think I have 0 Zach Ertz outside of weekly winners.
I want Zach Ertz. Take Zach Ertz. Oh, I really want him. Please.
Are you
take him. He's
milking
gonna be
me
so
up,
good.
dog? Are you milking me?
Epic
Feels like you're
milking.
trying to milk me.
Boring.
Jesus. All right. Let's see. We're gonna get Theo Big Dick Johnson. That's who we're getting.
I like it. Rookie. He looks like a warrior from ancient times.
Young
All
Gronk.
sweaty and yeah. Wait, what?
Young Gronk, many are saying. Dayball's just feeding him Gronkowski highlights. Like he's calling him out of practice. He thinks he's in trouble. And then he gets called into Dayball's office and he's like, check out this Gronk highlight. This is what we want you to do. It's wild.
Dude, my very first BBM, I'm gonna scroll to it. This is actually hilarious.
Sure.
I have to scroll all the way down. I drafted the first drafted on the 29th has Brendan Rice and Theo Johnson on it.
What we're talking about, baby.
It also has Austin
Still in the
Eckler
last
and-
round. An Oracle, many are saying.
Yep. Theo Johnson, first BBM. There we go.
That's just calling a shot.
Well, yeah, and it was it. You look at the depth charts, you look at who drafts who, and it's like Daniel Bellinger, okay, maybe. Nice, Charlie. But like people were drafting Waller. It's like I don't know. I just never
dude,
saw it.
that was so when a dude's thinking about retiring, just pull the plug. Like especially when they're not a quarterback and like they're actually going to get taking a beating.
I rely so heavily on you guys and like everybody for their, especially like pre-draft rankings and RAS scores and all of the analysis y'all do. And I remember seeing Theo Johnson's name as like tight end 2 potentially. Ja'Tavion Sanders was like a big buzz guy early in the big board and before the draft, but Theo Johnson's name was coming up and like on Twitter like a bunch. And I was like, all right, fine.
Yeah, my only hesitation with him was, he and Bellinger had like very similar awesome RAS scores, and Bellinger was the incumbent. So were they actually going to give him all the work? And he missed time with a hip injury, and I'm like, missing time, and like you can say Bellinger's a cut candidate. It does not make any sense to cut him. Like I don't think either one of these guys is going to matter. They're going to rotate, and then now like this day one, Theo was back from injury. They were like, here are first team reps, and then here are all these Gronk highlights, and it's like, okay, my God, it's pretty heavy-handed. They're like, they want him to be a thing, so I'm very fine taking that upside shot. So we finished this delectable brunch chow. Jaden Daniels, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Bijan Robinson, Devon Achane, James Conner, Tyler Hancock-Algier, Jordan this year's Elijah Mason, Devonta Smith, Amari Cooper, Jaden Reed, Brian Thomas, Gabe Davis, Jalen McMillions, Greg Short King Summer Dude Dortch, Brendan Run hotter than the fucking sun with your player takes, Davis, Rice, Brock Bowers, Theo Johnson. Not many chows I think are going to do double stacked rookie tight ends. Feels nice.
I love this. This might be one of my favorite teams of the whole year right here.
This is fun. And then I know we got a couple of other folks. Sentry did a Hertz, Baker, Rogers, almost free, bro. McCaffrey, Monty, Ford, Wright, Mitchell. Little hand cuckaroo going on. Just a bunch of dudes cucking each other. You know what I'm saying? Just a bunch of cucks. Cuck fest. Best ball brunch cuck fest. Adams, Evans, Pickens, Watson, Palmer, Rizzy, Malachi, Njoku, Goddard, Likely. Nice.
I love Likely. I think he's a big seesaw player for this year. I've been pretty light on him, and it seems like that might be a miss from how much he'll be worked in. Updog doing the optimal 2.592 with Stroud, Burrow, Jonathan, Rashad White, DeAndre Swift, Zach Moss. The all not ship chasing team, I think I can say at the running back. I feel attacked.
That's Updog. That's a statement room. Good for you. Chase, Dell, Ridley, Judy, Leggett, Tolbert, Bateman, Andre Yoshivas, Jalen Hyatt, Kelsey, and Muth.
Look at his bye weeks and his tight end. That's for you, Tyler. That was a
very nice. Very nice. And then what Charlie do? Let's see. Charlie with the Geno. Oh my God, this is giving me PTSD. I had so many teams with Geno and Dimes last year. Oh, I almost did a CEH just then. No offense, all due respect. Bo Nix, James Cook, Ramondre Stevenson, Javonte Williams, Gus Edwards, Khalil Herbert, and Sion Vaki.
Yes, that is my kind of pick right there.
Love that. That might be the only Vaki pick in all of the Chow Chow.
But balanced with a very questionable Tim Patrick.
I mean, if you're going to go hyper fragile, you got to do it in spirit throughout the entire draft.
It's true.
Dude, this team collectively has one ACL. Holy shit.
I love this team, though.
This is fantastic, Charlie. Oh, my God. That's so good. Yeah, Vaki did look solid. I mean, catching the passes, that's pretty big. What's up, Crossface? How you doing, bud? All right, folks. We're going to shut it down. This has been a blast. One little last piece of housekeeping, folks, as I shift over. I'm still so slow with doing this shit. I swear to God. Here we go. That's what I want. Cut the music down. Let's see. I'm going to check the YouTube. We're doing our housekeeping. It's a road to 3K. We've only got 2 weeks left before week 1. We have 76 people watching. Thank you so much for tuning in live. Not that many likes. Please hit the like button. It does help. We are on the road to 3K. Hit the sub button if you're not already. We are almost at 3K subs. Hit the little button, please. We bring you this goodness all the time. We will be back tomorrow for Best Ball Mania with a very special guest. Hit the sub. Leave a comment, guys. We're doing a fucking $100 cash and $25 voucher to the fucking merch and motherfucking 12 months of free premium content. It's free. Just leave a comment. We want to give it away. I'm commenting on every video. Don't let me pay myself. Fugazi money. Come on. That's like Pat Corain coming out with the sidekick and everybody buying. Anyway, no, I kid. Anyway, hit the like, hit the sub, leave a comment, get your free money. Let me pay for your 2 chow chows. Let me do that out of my cold hard wallet that I try so hard for, guys. Anyway, appreciate everyone for joining us live. Ian, thank you so much for joining us today. If you got anything to plug, tell the people where to find you or not. You can tell them to kick rocks for all I care.
Hopefully week 17. Otherwise, I live in the shadows. This is my first real stream. Fantasy stream. So
if you get to the finals, who's the player you think you brought along that you're the only guy that has on your team?
That's a really good question.
Thanks. I thought so.
Yeah. I mean, I would give yourself some props for that. I would say if I can get all the way there, Casey Washington.
Oh, you know what, dude? You called that so early, and
yep, that's another one.
Now I was never in on Rondale, and now he's dead. R.I.P. And his incumbent is truly just Ray McLeod. He's been overtaking every team he has been on. So
yeah,
I like that a lot. I really do. And
I need to draft him more, but yeah.
His whole thing was I think the only thing I've seen about him on camp was just he's got really good hands. He's impressed us. And it's that's not nothing.
Yeah.
That's not nothing for a 6th round pick.
I mean, it was the first preseason game. He had an insane stat line. Yesterday, he had 6 targets for nothing, 0 across the board, which maybe doesn't age well for this answer.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it was their 3rd string quarterback because they rested Michael Penis. He was in street penis clothes. So All right, folks. Thank you so much for joining us today on Best Ball Brunch's Fantasy Sanctuary. This was a blast. I got to do more guest brunches because bromosas go better with brunch.
They do. Thanks for having me on, man.
Dude, thank you, Ian, for joining us. For everybody else, appreciate you joining us all the time. We very much appreciate y'all. Have a great Sunday. See you tomorrow back here on the channel at 5 Central, 6 Eastern, 9 p.m. UK time. Look at me learning all the time zones. From us to y'all, have a good one. Draft good players, but dumpster dive a little bit. Scroll the F down.